Picture this. It's December 31st, 2026. You're sitting at your kitchen table, looking at your bank account, and for the first time in years, you're actually smiling. Not because you won the lottery, not because you inherited money, but because you made 10 specific decisions in January that completely changed your financial trajectory. Now picture the alternative. It's that same night, and you're looking at the same credit card balance you had 12 months ago, wondering where another year went. The difference between these two scenarios is not luck. It's not your salary. It's the 10 things I'm about to share with you. My name is Prudent Smart, and I spend way too much time thinking about success habits, money management, and financial discipline for the year 2026. If you're someone who wants to improve your finances in 2026 but feels stuck, overwhelmed, or doesn't know what steps to actually take to win the year, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Most people are going to fail their 2026 financial goals by February. According to research from the University of Scranton, only 8% of people actually achieve their New Year's resolutions. But here's what most people don't realize. It's not because they lack willpower. It's because they're following the wrong rules. Here's the thing that drives me crazy. Everyone's still using the same budgeting advice from a decade ago. Track every expense. Use the 50-30-20 rule. Cut out your daily coffee. Have you looked at inflation lately? In 2026, we're dealing with housing costs that have increased 47% since 2020. Grocery prices that are up 32% from pre-pandemic levels. The 50-30-20 rule was designed for an economy where rent was $800, not $100. So here's what actually works in 2026. Reverse budgeting with inflation anchors. Instead of tracking every dollar you spend, you're going to do this. Take your after-tax income. Let's say you make $4,500 per month. Immediately, automatically, move 20% $900 into 3 specific buckets before you see it. $400 to a high-yield savings account, currently paying 4.5 to 5% in early 2026. $300 to investments, index funds, Roth IRA. $200 to a Life Happens fund. What's left? $600. Is your spending money. You can budget it or not, but you've already won because you paid yourself first. Here's the psychological shift. Traditional budgeting feels like restriction. This feels like a game where you're trying to live your best life on $3,600 while your future self gets richer automatically. You're not depriving yourself. You're playing on hard mode by choice, and that changes everything. The math on this is insane. That $900 per month over 12 months is $10,800 saved. In 5 years, with compound interest at conservative 7% returns on the invested portion, you're looking at over $65,000. From money you never saw, never missed, never had to budget. This is where it gets really interesting. There's a concept in behavioral economics called mental accounting, and we're going to weaponize it for your benefit. If you make $60,000 a year, I want you to live like you make $48,000. Just completely pretend that other $12,000 doesn't exist. But prudent, isn't that just saving 20%? No, it's psychologically different. When you save money, your brain knows it's yours and you're sacrificing to put it away. When you pretend you never earned it, there's no sacrifice. There's no loss aversion triggering your brain to justify spending it. A study from the Journal of Consumer Research found that people who mentally undercounted their income saved 3.4 times more than people who tried to budget better with their full income. Think about that. Same amount of money, different mental frame, 340% better results. And look, I know what you're thinking. That's easy to say when you're not living paycheck to paycheck. Fair. If you're barely making it, you can't pretend away 20%. But you can pretend away 5. Even 2%. The principle is what matters. Act as if you earn less than you do, and watch how quickly your financial floor rises. Here's what most people don't realize about emergency funds. They're not really about emergencies. They're about power. The traditional advice is to have 3 to 6 months of expenses saved. But in 2026, with gig economy instability, AI disrupting jobs, and economic uncertainty, you need what I call an FU fund. and it needs to be 12 months of bare minimum expenses. Let me tell you why this changes everything. When you have 1 year of living expenses in the bank, you can walk away from a toxic job without panic. Negotiate your salary like you mean it. Start that side business without fear. Say no to opportunities that don't serve you. This isn't just about financial security. It's about psychological freedom. Research from the American Psychological Association shows that financial stress increases cortisol levels by up to 300%, which impairs decision-making, increases impulsivity, and literally makes you worse with money. It's a vicious cycle. Your FU fund breaks that cycle. Suddenly you're making career decisions from abundance, not scarcity. You're choosing opportunities, not desperately grabbing whatever's available. Here's the game plan. Calculate your absolute bare minimum monthly expenses. Not your comfortable lifestyle, what you could survive on if you had to. Maybe that's $2,000. Multiply by 12. That's $24,000. That's your FU fund target. Every dollar you save beyond your initial emergency fund goes here until you hit that number. For most people, this takes 18 to 24 months of dedicated saving. That's 2027 or early 2028. But once you have it, you're playing a completely different game than 90% of people around you. Okay, this one frustrates me because I see so many people doing this backwards. They'll spend 3 hours comparing prices to save $15 on groceries. They'll drive across town to save 5 cents per gallon on gas. They'll clip coupons, hunt for deals, stress about every purchase. Meanwhile, they're in a job that underpays them by $10,000 a year and they haven't negotiated their salary in 3 years. Look, I'm not against being frugal, but there's something called opportunity cost, and most people ignore it completely. Your time has value. If you make $50,000 a year and work 2,000 hours annually, your time is worth $25 per hour. Spending 3 hours to save $15 means you just valued your time at $5 per hour. Here's the shift. In 2026, stop asking, how can I spend less? And start asking, how can I earn more per hour of my time? This might mean finally having that salary conversation, average raise from negotiation. 10 to 20%, which is $5,000 to $10,000 on a $50,000 salary. Learning a high-income skill in your evenings instead of watching Netflix. Starting a side business that pays you $50 to $100 per hour instead of working a second job at $15 per hour. Automating or eliminating low-value tasks so you can focus on high-leverage activities. A recent study showed that people who focused on income optimization versus expense optimization over a 5-year period ended up with 4.2 times more net worth. Not because expenses don't matter, but because there's a floor to how little you can spend and no ceiling to how much you can earn. Credit card debt in America hit an all-time high of $1.13 trillion in late 2025. The average household with credit card debt carries about $7,800 in balances. At the average interest rate of 24.37%, yes, it's gotten that high, that's $1,900 per year just in interest. You're paying $158 per month to own your past mistakes. Here's what you're going to do in 2026. Set up automatic payments for every single debt you have at the absolute maximum amount you can afford. Not minimum payments, maximum payments. But prudent. What if I need that money for something? That's the point. You're creating artificial scarcity for present you so future you can have abundance. When the money's not in your account, you can't spend it. You're forced to be creative, to find other solutions, to actually live below your means. The psychological principle here is called pre-commitment. Odysseus tied himself to the mast so he couldn't swim to the sirens. You're tying your money to debt repayment so you can't waste it on things that don't matter. Let's do the math. Say you have that $7,800 in credit card debt. Minimum payment might be $180. But if you commit to paying $500 per month automatically, you're debt-free in 18 months and you save over $2,400 in interest. That's $2,400 that was going to evaporate into thin air, now staying in your pocket. Stack your debts by interest rate, avalanche method, or balance, snowball method. Honestly, the method matters less than the commitment to aggressive, automatic payments. Here's where most people sabotage themselves. They invest money but keep it mentally available. When they want something, new car, vacation, house upgrade, they pull from investments. This is killing your wealth. In 2026, you're going to open investment accounts and then forget the passwords. I'm serious. Write the passwords down, put them in a safe or with your important documents, and don't have them saved on your computer. Why? Because the biggest enemy of investment returns isn't market volatility. It's you. It's your impulse to just this once withdraw money. It's your panic when the market drops 15%. It's your FOMO when you hear about the hot new stock. A study by Dalbar found that the average investor underperforms the S&P 500 by about 4% annually, not because they pick bad investments, but because they buy high, sell low, and can't keep their hands off their portfolio. Over 30 years, that 4% difference turns $10,000 into $43,000 versus $76,000. Same starting amount, different behavior, $33,000 less wealth. Your move for 2026. Set up automatic investing. Every month, money goes from your checking to your brokerage account and buys index funds. You never see it, you never touch it, you don't log in to check it more than twice a year. This is especially critical in 2026 because we're likely to see continued volatility. AI disruption, geopolitical uncertainty, inflation concerns. The news will give you 1,000 reasons to wait or get out for now. Ignore all of it. Time in the market beats timing the market every single time. If you invest $500 per month starting at age 30 and never touch it until 65, at a 10% average annual return, you'll have $1.58 million. If you do the same thing but pull money out twice, reducing your total contributions by just 20%, you'll have $1.26 million. That impulse to just borrow from yourself cost you $320,000. Let me tell you about Marcus. He's a 34-year-old software developer from Toronto who reached out to me in late 2024 because he was completely financially stuck, and he couldn't figure out why. On paper, Marcus should have been fine. He was making $87,000 per year, which is decent money. But here's what his life looked like. $14,000 in credit card debt across 4 cards. No emergency fund. He was contributing 3% to his retirement, just enough for the company match, and had about $28,000 saved over 8 years. His checking account would hit zero about 5 days before each paycheck. I make good money, he told me. I don't buy crazy stuff. I don't understand where it all goes. Here's where it was going. $1,950 in rent, $720 in car payment and insurance for a car he bought new in 2022. Big mistake. $400 in minimum credit card payments, $300 eating out because he was too tired to cook, $180 on subscriptions he barely used, and a dozen other small expenses that added up to him spending 103% of his after-tax income every single month. The psychology behind Marcus's situation is something I see constantly. He felt broke, so he spent money on small pleasures to feel better about feeling broke, which made him more broke, which made him feel worse. It's a trap that's incredibly hard to escape because it's emotionally driven, not logically driven. Marcus's breakthrough moment came when I asked him, "If you died today, what financial legacy would you leave?" He got quiet. Then he said, "Debt. I'd leave my family debt and stress." That hit him hard, really hard, because Marcus grew up poor, like really poor. His parents immigrated from Ghana with nothing. His father worked 3 jobs. His mother cleaned houses. They sacrificed everything so Marcus could go to college and make it. And here he was, making more money than his parents ever dreamed of, but financially no better off than they were. Actually worse, because they never had debt, they couldn't get credit. But they also never had opportunity. "I'm wasting the opportunity they gave me," Marcus said. "I'm making their sacrifice meaningless." That was January 2025. Here's what Marcus did over the next 12 months. Month 1 to 2, he got angry, really angry at himself. He printed out every credit card statement from 2024 and highlighted every stupid purchase. $3,400 on DoorDash. $1,800 on a vacation he put on a credit card. $600 on video games. He taped these to his bathroom mirror. Month 3, Marcus sold the car. This was brutal for him. He loved that car, but it was costing him $720 per month when he worked from home 3 days a week. He bought a used 2018 Honda Civic for $14,000 cash from selling the new car, and his payment dropped to $0. Insurance dropped to $110 per month. That freed up $610 monthly. Month 4 to 8, he implemented reverse budgeting. Every paycheck, $1,200 went to debt automatically. Another $400 to a separate savings account he couldn't easily access. He lived on what was left. It sucked. He told me, "I felt poor again, like I was back in my parents' house, counting every dollar." But here's what he realized. The difference is, this time I'm poor on purpose. This time it's temporary. This time I'm building something. Month 9 to 12. Something shifted. Marcus paid off his first credit card. Then his second. The minimum payments he was making, for $100, were now freed up, so he snowballed them into the remaining balances. By December 2025, he was completely debt-free for the first time since college. But here's the really interesting part. His lifestyle didn't actually change that much. He learned to cook, saved $220 per month. He canceled subscriptions he wasn't using, $180 per month. He stopped online shopping when he was bored, $150 per month on average. These weren't massive sacrifices, they were just intentional choices instead of mindless ones. As we head into 2026, Marcus has $11,400 in his emergency fund, zero debt, and he increased his retirement contribution to 15%. His net worth went from negative $14,000 to positive $42,000 in 1 year. That's a $56,000 swing. But when I asked him what really changed, he said this: "I stopped spending money to feel successful and started making decisions that would actually make me successful." Those are completely different things. Marcus's story shows you something critical. The numbers matter, yes, but the psychological shift matters more. He had to get uncomfortable. He had to grieve the lifestyle he thought he deserved. He had to reconnect with his why, honoring his parents' sacrifice by actually building something with the opportunity they gave him. You don't need Marcus's exact situation to learn from his story. You need his mindset shift, from comfortable failure to uncomfortable growth. Businesses do quarterly reviews. They analyze what's working, what's not, where money is going, and where they're getting ROI. You should too. In 2026, I want you to do quarterly financial audits. Set reminders for March 31st, June 30th, September 30th, and December 31st. Block out 2 hours and ask yourself these questions. Where did my money actually go this quarter? What purchases do I regret? What purchases brought me genuine joy or value? Am I closer to or further from my financial goals than I was 90 days ago? What's one financial habit I can eliminate and one I can add? This is about pattern recognition. You'll start to notice that you overspend in certain emotional states: stressed, bored, celebrating. You'll see that certain purchases consistently feel good, experiences with friends, while others consistently feel hollow, impulse online shopping. A behavioral economics principle called perspective hindsight shows that people who regularly review past decisions make 30% better decisions going forward. You're literally training your brain to predict which choices you'll regret before you make them. The average millionaire has 7 income streams. The average broke person has 1. That's not a coincidence. In 2026, with AI potentially disrupting jobs across every sector, relying on a single income source is like playing financial Russian roulette. You need redundancy. This doesn't mean working 80 hours a week. It means being strategic about where you put your energy. Income streams can include your primary job, income stream 1. Freelance work in your field, income stream 2. Investment dividends, income stream 3. A digital product or course, income stream 4. Rental income if you can afford property, income stream 5. A YouTube channel or blog with ad revenue, income stream 6. Affiliate marketing, income stream 7. The goal for 2026 isn't to have 7 streams right away. It's to add 1 more beyond your job, just 1. And commit to building it to at least $500 per month by December. Why $500? Because that's real money. That's a car payment. That's groceries for a family. That's meaningful progress on debt. And psychologically, once you prove to yourself you can create income outside a traditional job, everything changes. You realize you're not trapped. You have options. You have leverage. Here's what doesn't work: trying to be frugal about everything. That's miserable and unsustainable. Here's what does work: identifying the 3 to 5 things you genuinely value and spending freely on those while being absolutely ruthless about everything else. Maybe you value travel. Great. Budget $3,000 per year for amazing trips. But you drive a 12-year-old car and live in a modest apartment because you don't really care about those things. Maybe you value having the latest tech. Cool. Get the new iPhone, the nice laptop, the good headphones. But you cook every meal at home and wear $20 jeans because food and fashion don't matter to you. The key is conscious value alignment. Most people spend on everything a little bit, so they're never deeply satisfied with anything. They take okay vacations, drive an okay car, have okay stuff, and feel vaguely dissatisfied with all of it. Instead, spend $0 on the 90% of things you don't care about and spend generously on the 10% you do. This isn't deprivation. It's intentional abundance in the areas that actually matter to you. A study in the Journal of Consumer Psychology found that people who practiced strategic indulgence, spending a lot on a few valued categories, reported 40% higher life satisfaction than people who tried to cut back on everything equally. Here's the uncomfortable truth: most people are financially illiterate. They don't understand compound interest, tax optimization, investment vehicles, or even how credit cards actually work. And look, that's not entirely their fault. We don't teach this in schools. We expect people to figure it out on their own. But financial illiteracy is costing you thousands, maybe tens of thousands per year. In 2026, commit to reading 1 personal finance book per month. That's 12 books. Take 1 online course about investing. Listen to finance podcasts during your commute. Follow credible financial educators like Ahem, this channel. The ROI on financial education is insane. If reading a $20 book teaches you how to properly fund a Roth IRA, and that results in $100,000 more in retirement due to tax-free growth, that's a 500,000% return on investment. But beyond the money, financial literacy gives you confidence. You stop being intimidated by financial jargon. You stop feeling like everyone else knows something you don't. You start making informed decisions instead of guessing or avoiding financial topics altogether. Here are 12 books to read in 2026, 1 per month. The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin. The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley. Die with Zero by Bill Perkins. The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. The Little Book of Common Sense Investing by John Bogle. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. By the end of 2026, you'll have consumed more financial education than 95% of people get in their entire lives. Look, here's the reality. None of this is revolutionary. It's not sexy. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. These 10 rules are simple, boring, and proven. The problem is never knowing what to do. It's doing what you know. So the question isn't, do these rules work? Of course they work. The question is, will you actually do them? Because here's what I know about human behavior. Right now, watching this video, you're motivated. You're thinking, yes, this is the year. I'm going to do this. But motivation fades. It always does. Motivation gets you started. Systems keep you going. So don't rely on motivation. Build systems. Automate your savings. Automate your debt payments. Automate your investments. Schedule your quarterly reviews. Create accountability by telling someone your goals. Make it so that succeeding is easier than failing. And remember Marcus's story. Remember that the discomfort you feel making changes today is nothing compared to the regret you'll feel in December if you didn't change anything. 2026 can be the year everything changed. Or it can be another year where you meant to do better but didn't. The difference is what you do in the next 72 hours. Start with one rule. Just one. Master it. Then add another. You've got this. Now go make 2026 the year you actually win. If this video helped you, hit that subscribe button and smash the like button so more people can see this. Drop a comment below telling me which of these 10 rules you're implementing first. And I'll see you in the next one.